What's up, everybody? I'm Rook.
And I'm Archon.
And we want to welcome you back to your favorite podcast ever. I hope.
Forever, ever?
Today's episode, we're going to talk about episode 3 of Firefly. And then we didn't really plan an episode for this week. So, a topic. We planned to do the episode, but we didn't plan a topic. So we're going to talk about some random stuff we have seen in the news about PlayStation and what was the other stuff you wanted to talk about?
A new Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh, yep.
And interesting study about video games that I came across.
All right. So we're going to discuss all this information. And first, we want to start off how we normally do. How was your week, sir?
Oh, boy. My week was a train wreck. Started out sick. I don't know why I'm always sick, but I started out sick. Monday and Tuesday, I was really, really sick. And Wednesday, we have a guy at work that is about to have a baby. And his wife's due at any moment. So right now I'm kind of riding along with him on his routes and helping him out so that if he has to leave at a moment's notice, we could have our other manager come grab him and then I could just keep going with the route and finish it up.
That's useful.
Yeah. And then Friday, because his route was like quite a ways away from the shop, I was just like, dude, I'll do your route for you. You just hang around the office and try and get some renewals and do some things like that. Some, other things he can do to make some money. That worked out pretty well, but he didn't end up having his baby, so still hasn't had it. So tomorrow is gonna be another day of us doing it together. So we'll see. I mean, it's not. He's actually his baby's not even due really for another 2 weeks. It just his wife just keeps showing signs that she's gonna have it any moment. So
fair enough.
I think she's actually due on the 7th, which conveniently is right when the new patch for Starfield drops. So maybe the baby's waiting for Starfield. Who knows? But then there was Update 4. Update 4 for Hytale was a big thing that we've been waiting for because it fixed a few things that we've been waiting for to be fixed. Like some of the dungeons we haven't been able to go into because they wouldn't mesh with things until Update 4 came out and added a whole bunch of new blocks and everything like that, and proceeded to just destroy break our server. And for 4 days, I've been dealing with filing tickets and dealing with the GMs and trying to figure it out, and it turned out that it was we just couldn't get into our server at all. It would not load. It just kept saying failed whenever we tried to load it. And it turned out to be a mod issue. I ended up having to go through and delete every mod, one by one, to figure out which mods were causing it to not start. And then once it did start, I had to go through each mod and figure out which ones were conflicting with the world and weren't working right, and either replace them with a different mod or get rid of them completely and try and fix whatever issues that caused. So, yeah, I spent the better part of today doing that.
So it's been an interesting time the whole time you've been doing this because I'm watching your conversation because the server's set up to my email. So I see the email notification. I'm watching the entire chat log between them.
Yeah. At one point, they're like, well, we could always just completely reset your whole server. And my eyes got big as saucers like, no, you can't. Well, that'll be the last option because we have way too much work into this.
So that's the one bad thing about being in an early release game where they're still adding stuff because the changes are huge. And so mods will deconflict or conflict really quick.
Time, yeah. Well, even Minecraft, whenever there's a big update on Minecraft, you have to go through and check all your mods because.
Now here's the part I hate It was the simplest mod that actually broke
Oh
it.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. So we have mods that completely change the functionality of the whole game. They add an RPG element to the game. They add skills. They add leveling up. We had economies, everything. And the mod that broke our server was the one that allowed us to type text onto the signs.
Mm-hmm. That was just horrible. I was like,
That
really?
was the one that broke the whole server. As soon as I got rid of that one mod, our server finally would work. Some of the other ones were still conflicting and causing issues, and I had to like fix them. But like, that was the one that made it to where we literally could not log in. Just being able to add text to our signs, and that's the only one I couldn't replace either. We just don't have text on our. We just can't have signs.
Oh well, I guess we can't keep our a list of what's in our inventories.
I know. I had my chests and my vault all set up where everything was all labeled, where I knew what was going to be in each chest. Yeah, not anymore. At least not for now.
Yeah.
Till some type of sign mod works.
Or
like
they
the most
release
basic thing. Like, I don't understand why they don't just let you type on the signs. Like, that's like basic.
Again, the game's an early release. They just recently added arches.
No, they didn't.
Or is that from a mod?
That's a mod.
Oh.
That's one of my mods I added.
What did they add to this one then?
Like 400 different blocks, which one of them was supposed to be like railings, but I don't see how you do that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all.
Maybe it's at a bench I haven't looked at yet or not. They added, they decreased the number of times that you can level up the farming bench, so you don't have to level it up as high anymore. Instead of like level 9, it only goes up to level 6 now until you unlock everything.
Let's see, they added complete limestone, slate, chalk, cooled magma block sets.
Which is a lie because I tried making block sets out of cooled magma earlier and it wouldn't work.
Stair and half slabs for rock, cloth, smooth clay, and dirt block sets. Gravel and gravel half slabs. Bronze, copper, zinc. Stairs? They finally added bronze, copper, and zinc and iron block sets in creative mode. Yep.
What's zinc?
A metal.
That must be new.
It is. Oh. They added that, and that's in creative mode though. They ferns and adjusted grass block sets, T-junctions and 4-way junctions for fences and walls, and many new cloth and tent roof block types, and more. Oh, and they added proximity voice chat. They added emote wheel.
An emote wheel, yeah. Yeah.
Hairstyles.
I almost added a mod just for the fun of it, just to be dumb, that added an emote for the 6-7 thing. And I was going to walk up to you and be like,
Nice.
Oh, but I didn't.
Yeah, the blocks aren't too interesting, to be honest. But they do show in the picture all of these different block sets, so I'm surprised.
Yeah, I tried, like, maybe you got to do the cooled magma one somewhere else. I don't know, but I couldn't find cooled magma in there. Like, I took the cooled magma to the builder bench and didn't see anything. Like, you couldn't put it in there to make blocks out of it.
Did you put it in the furnace?
No.
Maybe you got to put it in the furnace.
But then it wouldn't be cooled magma anymore. It'd be warmed magma. Reheated magma.
Reheated magma.
I don't know. But, yeah. I saw a mod that, like, I think it was, like, at 5-minute intervals, it tells a random Chuck Norris joke in the chat. Randomly throws a Chuck Norris joke in the chat. And I thought about it. But I was like, no. With all the issues we're having with mods right now, I think I got to cool it with mods for a little while until everything settles down.
Yeah, that would be useful. But it's been 10 weeks and they already did update 4.
Yeah.
Dang, it's been 10 weeks. We've been on it
10 weeks since update.
No,
3.
it's been 10 weeks since early release. started.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's been 4 updates.
Mm-hmm.
I know when we first started, like when we very first started, they were already on update 3. They just implemented update 3.
So what's cool is that shows that the devs are diligently working on the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know what we didn't get in 10 weeks? Was Starfield?
Actually, at the beginning, Starfield was pretty good.
It was getting updates like once a month.
Yeah, it was doing really. I mean, that's pretty good once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just disappeared for a long time. We would go just months and months between even hearing anything.
But like so, a lot of people have said online with Starfield, it's a non-MMO, so don't expect to get update information like you would a live action game, a live service game.
True. That's true.
So I wouldn't mind having a live action. Yeah, because I don't remember always getting news articles about Skyrim. And Skyrim came out while the internet was a big thing.
Any Fallouts or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So we were. Our biggest complaint was not getting any information because we had a show completely built around Starfield.
Well, our biggest complaint was that they said that they were going to keep us updated, and then they stopped keeping us updated.
True. That was our biggest complaint.
Pretty big. You say you're going to do something, follow through.
Yeah. So, although we don't really talk about Starfield much, we do. At least I still play the game occasionally, and I do talk to guys in the Discord about Starfield. I was actually
change here in a week or so.
We're looking at a little over a week.
A little over a week on the 7th. Yeah, once the new patch drops, I'm going to start playing it again, and I know you're probably going to be playing it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be annoyed because I'm gonna have to re-download the Watchtower.
I haven't even played the Watchtower yet.
That's
all going to be new too.
What's interesting is the Watchtower is a fan-made, is a creations mod, but Bethesda backs that one hard because it's a really good mod.
Mm-hmm.
And the bounty
to get into it again.
Yeah, and from what it looks like the guys were saying up in the Discord is it looks like that the bounty hunter set up in that game, the bounty hunting missions, they added more to it.
Okay.
So they're working on it at least. That shows they're still working on it.
Pretty excited about that. So how was your week?
Long. So with me working out, I haven't really gamed too hardcore during the day. However, I still make time. So I played a little bit of Hytale, but I've been finding myself jumping back into Baldur's Gate, playing that a little bit more. Then going from there, I'm looking at Hytale occasionally. I jumped in to Hytale. And when I could. And working on this build, finally got my roof all completed. So now it's just working on the interior and the back wall and the patio and all that. So hopefully that comes out the way I want it to. And then I did most of that today. Also today, I flipped over my table and went and got some more polyurethane because, I completely forgot to close my canister of polyurethane. So I had to go get some more, and I thinned it out a little bit. So it's going to take a lot more coats, but I think it'll turn out better. So I'm just waiting for that to dry so I can do another coat tonight before I go to bed. And then...
Man, it's going to be like 6 to 8 weeks before you can even use this desk because you're putting so many coats of this polyurethane on here.
Well, if I was doing it every single day, I could have it done in a week. Because 2 coats in 4 hours, give or take. But I would rather take my time with it because I'm now on the top of the desk. So the part that's going to be the top. So I want to make sure it looks good when I'm done. And then I've been listening to a book called Star Wars: The Old Republic, Revan. So I've been listening to that book, and it's making me want to jump back into Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Rook.
I just downloaded. I just took my Star Wars Galaxy's Legends launcher and actually updated that because it was way behind. So that's pretty much all I did today. Oh, and I watched the newest episode of Firefly, episode 3.
Yeah,
the newest old episode. We were
about to record.
I know, right before we recorded, so it's fresh on my mind.
45 minutes before we were supposed to record, I was like, "Hey, you watched the episode, right?" He goes, "Oh, thanks for reminding me." What? You haven't even watched it yet? Oh, Rook.
But today I went to Walmart and you mentioned Chuck Norris, and I was looking at their TV series section. And of course, they have The Expanse, the complete series on DVD. And then they have Walker, Texas Ranger, the complete series.
Oh, man.
I'm thinking about going and buying that. I might have to wait till Friday, but I won't buy it. $75.
It's not bad for the complete series.
I drive a diesel engine truck. So,
oh.
Yeah.
Is it as bad down there as it is here? My buddy sent me the prices in California, and I almost cried.
So it is now the cost of what I was paying in California. It's like 50 cents cheaper than what I was paying in California when I left California. So $4.79 was the last one I looked at.
My buddy just sent me a picture over the weekend.
Oh yeah, California is expensive right now.
Right now, diesel in California is $7.99.
Mm-hmm.
$7.99, and regular unleaded is $6.49.
Yep, it's ridiculous.
That is bonkers. Here, diesel is $4.99 in Michigan. Diesel's $4.99 and regular is right around $3.99.
Yeah, that's close to what we're at here in Texas. But the issue is California just has so many different taxes and fees they charge the companies that they have to charge more for their gas.
Do they, though? Do they have to, or are they just being greedy and trying to make money?
They have to, because California charges 70-cent tax per gallon, and then they charge like a $2 or $3 storage fee for underground storage of the fuel
per gallon.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
it's the cost is added into per gallon of fuel. That's why they're so expensive.
I'd lose my mind.
Yeah.
I would never be able to live there.
I don't ever want to go back. I'll go back to like WonderCon again or go to San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm not going back there to live.
Yeah. I filled up my truck the other day for 1 week, like 1 week's worth of gas, and it's like $95, and I about lost my mind.
Dude, I saw somebody make a meme of this. And it's funny. This woman took a picture and she's like, started complaining about gas prices, but not in the way you think. She was complaining that she could fit more dollars into her gas tank. She didn't say, I can fit more gallons. She is like, under Biden, I could put $100 in my gas tank. Under current administration, I can only put 50. It's like, she's talking about the money, not the gallons. It's like, really? You're still putting 20 gallons in your truck.
Yeah, it's the same amount of gas. You're just paying less, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it is just thinking that it cost me roughly $400 a month just to be able to go to work. Just for the privilege of going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me sad.
You know what we should do? It's nearly impossible because I'd forget throughout the year. But keep every receipt with sales tax You can actually claim sales tax on your federal taxes in the U.S.
If you itemize it, yeah.
So,
I wouldn't. That sounds like a pain.
but no, so I ended my week with two 14-hour days back to back. So it was getting home, going to bed, waking up, and going right to work. Nothing else. You know how annoying that is.
Yep.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have time to do anything. It was exhausting. So when this weekend rolled around, I was like, oh, thank God I get to sleep.
Yeah.
I went to sleep. Saturday, I nearly was late for my D&D game because I slept in and didn't wake up until like almost 10:30.
Yeah, dude. I knew it was rough the other day when I texted you something about the server because I like responded to something you said and you're like, "Yeah, I'm still at work," and I was getting up to go to work. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, dude!" It's like I'm just
Yeah.
starting my day. Hey,
So
what the heck?
typically I get off work around 1 o'clock in the morning. 12:30 in the morning. Uh, but we had to work till 4 o'clock in the morning. So you're messaging me. I'm like, yep, I'm still at work.
Jeez. Yeah, I got to be up at 4:30 tomorrow, so it's gonna be an
Oof.
early one for me.
Yeah, I'm a more of an early morning person than I am staying up really late. It's rough for me on this shift, but I like the
Dude,
pay and
the
I like
biggest thing
people
I
at work.
noticed about all this getting up at 4:30 nonsense is on the weekend when I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to sleep in. I still wake up at 4:30, and then I gotta like force myself to sleep longer, and then I feel like crap when I wake up. Like, man, I should have just got up,
Yeah.
but I did. I just something about getting up at 4:30 on the weekend just seems wrong, so I can't do it.
Oh, when I was still in California, when I was getting ready to move out here, I was getting up at what 3:45 in the morning to make sure my dog was taken care of because it's an hour commute to get to work, 45 minutes to an hour commute. Uh, I'd get to work, I'd get home, I'd go to bed around 9:10, and repeat. So on the weekends when I wake up, I would sleep in to 6:30 in the morning. You know how annoying it is when you're waking up at 6:30 in the morning and everybody else is still in bed for another 2 or 3 hours?
Yeah, that's what I would do. I like on the weekends. I sleep in as long as I can, which is usually about 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't anymore. I start getting a headache, and I'm like, oh, I better get up.
Yeah. Mine actually starts hurting my neck if I keep laying in one side too long, especially this side of my neck. It's called getting old. Oh, I had an issue happen. Speaking of getting old, I was laying down in my bed on Friday morning, and I woke up because I forgot to turn my alarm. Or no, somebody was calling me. My phone was vibrating. I had the volume off, but the vibrating on. A fucking
Mm-hmm.
scam call called, and all of a sudden, I turned it off, rolled back over, and my whole I think it's your hamstring, quad
Pulled
or your
something.
hamstring,
Oh, cramp.
where it just everything just spasmed and it just crunched together, and I couldn't.
Cramp. Yeah.
I curled up in a ball, and I had to force myself to get out of bed and start stretching it out just so that it would ease off. It hurt. Everything was cramping up. It hurt. I had to stretch it out just so I could be comfortable, and that was painful. Just getting it to
Yeah.
stretch out.
Dude, those Charlie horses like that suck.
Mm-hmm. It's I've had it happen a couple of times, but this one usually it's like my foot or something hurts to the point where I got to try walking it off. But that right there was so much pain. And the only
Mm-hmm.
reason why I'm bringing that up is because right after it cleared, it's still sore in that area.
Did you drink a lot of water?
I drink a lot of water.
Yeah. Usually that helps. But, huh.
Now, maybe it's because I didn't have my bananas yet.
Oh, could be.
Because my
Get
normal,
that potassium.
yeah, get that potassium with the egg whites and the blueberry.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
that was my week.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Very,
Not bad. A
very
little
simple.
getting old. A little
Oh.
humbling getting old.
Yeah, I know, right? So, you got a PS5, right?
I do. Thankfully.
Yeah. So, be prepared because it sounds like Sony is looking at dropping the PlayStation Network branding this year. Yeah, they're dropping to retire. They are reportedly announced plans to retire all PlayStation Network branding by September 2026, according to a leaked email that was sent to developers. It said they are quoted as saying, "We'd like to inform you that Sony Interactive Entertainment has strategically decided to phase out the terms PlayStation Network and PSN across our platform in order to properly capture the breadth of our evolving digital services." So I think they're doing something like how Xbox used to call it Xbox Live and stuff, and now they just call it Xbox.
I thought it was still, what is it now? Game Pass. It's Xbox
Yeah.
Game Pass now.
Yeah, they
It
rebranded
used to be like Xbox Gold, and then it was Xbox Live, and then it was, Xbox Game Pass now.
So they're just going to be calling it PlayStation. Yeah, it's Microsoft did away with this as an Xbox campaign last month. The future of PlayStation's consoles production is currently up in the air, and PlayStation's biggest competitor, Xbox, is also rethinking its marketing strategy. They did away with the Xbox campaign last month, and after a sudden departure of former Xbox president Sarah Bond, who spearheaded the controversial marketing campaign. And then they also renamed their online subscription service, changing it from Xbox Live Gold to Xbox Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they're all doing a makeover just to make it more streamlined and make sense. Because Xbox Live Gold just doesn't sound good. And PlayStation Network, people use it for more. Yeah, I get why they called it PlayStation Network because it had movies and everything, but just call it PlayStation. It's all on the PlayStation anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I liked PSN. It's
easier to say.
Had a good ring to it, you know?
It rolled off the tongue well. But let's see what they end up changing it to. Last I heard, it was just going to be PlayStation, but
It should be PlayStation Game Pass.
Speaking of Game Pass, I was on Xbox Game Pass getting on the Starfield, and I actually found myself having to go into my library to find the non-Steam version of Starfield, because now it lists all my Steam games on Xbox.
Yeah, you can play them through Xbox now.
Yeah, it's awesome, because if I had an Xbox, I could play them on Xbox. But when I have Steam open and then I open up Xbox,
can you?
I don't know. I would assume so.
I don't know if you can or not. I don't have an Xbox, so I don't know. But
I don't have an Xbox. I use my computer for the Xbox.
Huh. Interesting.
So I got a really expensive Xbox console, sir.
Yeah. I want a new, really expensive Xbox console. I was looking at one today that was super expensive, but it was.
Luckily, I rebuilt this right before the RAM prices went up, because one of the improvements I made on this computer was I changed out my RAM.
Yeah, I have like 64 gigs of RAM in my computer, but it's all DDR4, so it's not like anything super special, because my computer's old enough where it doesn't support DDR5. So
yeah, mine, when I upgraded and I had that issue with my other video card, I went through and updated everything. I upgraded my motherboard, my graphics card, my RAM. So it has a 5600 Super. It has a DDR5 compatible motherboard. It has a new Ryzen 9 7600, I think. And then it has the Corsair Vengeance 64 gig of RAM.
Yeah, that's not bad. The one I was looking at today, it had a, what was it, a 4 point, no, I think it was a 3.9 gigahertz processor, but it was a 24 core processor. I was like, oh my goodness. Like mine's an 8.
I don't know
Mine's an
enough
8 core.
about computer processors to know if 24 cores is even worth it at this time.
I don't, unless you're like supremely multitasking, I don't see why it would be.
Yeah, mine's an 8 core, I think.
Mine's 8 as well, my current one, but like I need it's old and it needs to be upgraded.
Let me go to Newegg real quick and see exactly what I got.
That's where I was looking today was Newegg.
Yeah, that's where I go for most of my computer shopping because it's just easier in many cases. That's not my
And I
password.
had to buy an adapter the other day because my computer wouldn't support the 2 gig Wi-Fi or the 2 gig fiber that I put in.
Really?
Yeah, I had to buy an adapter that plugs in through the 3.0 port
That's weird.
that I plug my cord into. I plugged the Ethernet cord into, and that'll get me my full 2 gigs because I was only able to get like 1 gig.
That's
That's how
all
old
I
my
run.
computer is.
That's all I run typically is 1 gig because I don't want to pay the extra for the others, but at the same
I'm not paying. I'm paying less. Well, actually, I'm paying right now for the promotion for the first year. I'm paying $20 less than I was paying for 1 gig of cable for 2 gigs of fiber. And then once the promotion's up and I go to my normal price, it's only $5 more than what my 1 gig of cable was.
Nice.
And cable's garbage.
It is. Fiber's so much better.
Yeah, like you don't get the upload speeds and stuff that you get with fiber. Although this adapter, I don't know if it's my 3.0 port or what, but a couple times today I've had like where my computer just goes and then like I lose connection and then it comes back.
So that is how you justify to your wife you need a new computer because you're struggling to run fiber on the fiber.
Yeah.
So I'm running a Ryzen 9 9950X that has 16 cores. Oh,
Okay.
and it's a 5060 Ti is what I'm running for a graphics card. All right.
It's not bad.
Speaking of costs of everything that we were talking about earlier, PlayStation is increasing their prices as of April 2nd, 2026. The PS5 digital edition will go up to $600. The PS5 with the disc will go up to $650, and the PS5 Pro is going to go up to $900. For those in Europe, that is 600 euros, 650 euros, and 900 euros. And in the UK, it's 519 pound or 520 pounds, 570 pounds, and 790 pounds, respectively. So yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't get why they're doing it. It makes no. It does make sense because market's expensive right now, but you're going to price people out of the ability to buy consoles.
Yeah, I don't understand like why they like I can understand that they come out with a new system and the price point's just high, but to come out with the system and have it be on the market for years and then all of a sudden be like, okay, now we're going to raise the price $150. No one's going to buy it. They're literally going to get nothing in sales. I don't know why do they think that people are going to be like, oh, sweet, the price went up. Let's go buy one.
I don't know. The price point's what's making it hard for people to justify buying consoles For me,
already.
I have a
Yeah.
PS5 because at the time I didn't know this, that MLB The Show was on Xbox. So I got the PlayStation primarily for that. And it was when you're trying to get PS5s because every store kept running out. I happened to be at a not GameStop, at a Best Buy buying something else, and they came out and said, "Hey, we just got a delivery of PS5s, and do you want one?" And I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "All right." And he's like, "That's $550." It's like, deal.
I ended up getting mine. It was after they came out. I ended up getting mine from somebody else online, but he sold it to me with the system, 2 games, and 2 controllers for basically the same price as it would have been for the system, the 2 games, and the 2 controllers. So I didn't have to pay any extra. So it wasn't like a scalper situation. So yeah, I got mine basically at normal cost.
Yeah, but
It's fine by me.
if Sony would make it where I could play their games on my PC, I would never buy another console. Now, don't get
And
me
that's
wrong.
why they don't do that.
And don't get me wrong. The PlayStation is awesome as a entertainment system for streaming movies and stuff. So I still use it in the living room I don't put it here in my gaming room because my gaming room runs everything off the PC or the TV's Roku. So I don't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
But
I got a smart TV, so I don't.
the only thing I don't like is I use DirecTV Stream for my TV network so I can watch all my local sports and stuff without worrying no matter where I'm at because, I can.
Mhm.
I can't run that on Sony PlayStation. So I have my really old Amazon Fire still that I use for that. However, I still do use the PlayStation for streaming Netflix, Paramount Plus, all that, because it streams it really well. So there is a use for it, and it's great when you look at it in that terms, but I don't think that justifies the price point.
Yeah, no, especially considering you can do all that with like an Amazon Fire Stick, and they cost what, $30?
Mm-hmm. Or
So
an LG TV or any smart TV
yeah,
can do that.
I have a smart TV in my living room, so I don't use the PlayStation for anything other than the kids play games on it. I don't even play it that much. I almost, like, over the weekend, my wife's like, "Isn't there a game or something that you want to buy?" I was like, "Well, I want to buy Resident Evil Requiem." She goes, "Well, then buy it." And I was like, when would I play it? I go to bed either at the same time or before the kids do, and I can't play that game when my kids are up. So
Now, see that's bad parenting, sir. You should play it while they're up so they have nightmares all night, all right?
right. So then I don't sleep because my kids are in my room with nightmares. Yeah.
By the way, that was a joke for everybody who's listening.
Yeah. If you don't know Rook and his sense of humor.
Oh, I have a really dark sense of humor.
Sometimes.
It gets really dark.
Yeah.
So I go turn the light on.
So I'm just gonna ignore I heard that.
So what's the news articles you wanted to bring up, sir?
So speaking of gaming, I was reading this interesting article that the researchers from the SWPS University and the Stephen Bay Academy of Applied Scientists conducted a survey of players who play really deeply immersive games.
Ooh.
And found that once they have completed them, kind of like almost like a PTSD type thing sets in, where they start getting a depression from the lack of having that game to play anymore, because they got so immersed into it that now that it's over, they went into a form of depression. It says that included 373 participants. Most participants declared playing every day or almost every day, and the most popular types were playing like RPG type games. And out of those studied, it looks like 68% of them felt depression type symptoms after beating the games that they had spent so much time playing.
So I can identify with that, and part of it has to do with the fact that anytime I've played a really enthralling game that's really kept me focused on that game, as I realize I'm getting to the end of the game, I start finding myself not wanting to beat the game and continue running around and doing other stuff. But then you beat the game, it's like, now what am I going to do? I want more of the story. It can't be over. And I will occasionally get depressed on that. Mass Effect, for example, when I had to wait for Mass Effect 3, I beat Mass Effect 2 and I was like, there's more to the story. I need more story.
I need more. Where is it? I mean, with Mass Effect, that's different because you could play it again and, do it a different way. And I mean, because all your choices affect that game, there's a lot you could do with Mass Effect. But like a game like, one of the big Final Fantasy games or something where, you get through the whole thing and you're just like, it's over? Now what?
But games that draw you in like that and do epic battles and stuff that make you feel like you earned the end of the game, that to me is a good consolation for the feeling of the game being over.
Yeah. See, I don't think, like, I would probably be in that other 32%. Like, I've never really felt depressed after being done. See, a game like that, I more feel like a sense of accomplishment.
Especially if you've been grinding to get there.
Yeah.
But it has to be one of those games where everything about the game is epic. I can play an MMO and have this great story, but if all the fights are just really simplistic, I'm looking at you, Pokemon, it's boring.
Or if you spend the entire game, like, just deeply immersed and then the ending sucks.
Mm-hmm. Looking at you, Mass Effect.
Pokemon, yes.
Pokemon
Arceus, I really enjoyed that one all the way through, though.
I beat, I have Sword. I beat Pokemon Sword. The story was awesome. I love what they did with the story. I obviously knew what was coming because it's geared towards kids more so than adults, but more adults play it.
Right.
But I was not as invested in the game because everything about it is simplistic because they've made it easier for kids to be able to play it. Now, if they made it where you had an option to choose kid or adult playing and it was harder as an adult, then that would be awesome.
That'd be kind of hard to do, though, but it would be kind of cool.
It would be a slightly different story, or not different story, but different interactions. Like when you get your starting Pokemon, your rival will have a Pokemon that's strong against yours instead of weak against yours. They will level up on par with yours. So it would actually make you use strategy in the game.
That'd be kind of cool.
It would be.
Like, I would like that.
But when it comes to video games in general, I've beat Breath of Fire multiple times. It's one of my all-time favorite RPGs.
I've beaten those a few times too.
Its outdated combat style is still challenging if you don't properly gear yourself before you go into these fights. And even though it's still challenging, the story is enthralling and it keeps me entertained. And when I beat it, I'm always like, I wish there was a lot more to this. that one makes me depressed because there could be so much more.
Right.
But Capcom doesn't either want to sell the rights to somebody who can make a good game to continue the series, or they just want to stay away from RPGs now.
I don't know. That's one series I wish they would have kept going with, because they were good games.
Mm-hmm. Except for Dragon Quarter. That was like the most horrible game I've ever played.
There's always, okay, every series has at least one stinker. We got it. I mean, even Final Fantasy.
True.
I mean, which one am I thinking of? Oh,
2.
I can't think. No, 2. 2 was different, but I wouldn't say it was a stinker. It was just kind of unnecessarily difficult because of the stupid keyword system.
Yeah.
No, what's the one I'm thinking of?
10.
No, it was that it was on Super Nintendo. It was that really lame one.
Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
Yes, there you are. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, known as one of the easiest games ever made, because it was literally tailored for kids, like little kids, and it just was so simplistic and stupid. Yeah, that's it. Mystic Quest.
Then you get the games that make you really depressed because they're so difficult and you just give up in the middle of them. Looking at you, Ninja Gaiden from the regular Nintendo.
Right. Hey, I've beaten Ninja Gaiden. Remember I told you the other day I was sitting there waiting for an oil change, and I sat there and I got almost all the way through the whole game. Everybody's like sitting there watching me like, how are you even doing this?
But I can identify with that, both sides of that study, actually.
Yeah, I've never felt the depression, but I have definitely felt the sense of accomplishment. And I mean, I guess I have felt like, after I beat the game, kind of felt like I missed it. I missed playing it, so I guess that's kind of close.
You've ever played a game that brought a tear to your eye as you're playing it because the story was that involving?
Hello. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games, and when Aerith dies,
see that if
at least the first time it was like, oh
yeah, it's one of those. The first time I play a game, if that story has me deeply entwined, I've actually shed a tear over a video game because the story was
in a
that
few
good.
different games when the games are, and I've had games like literally, like I remember the very first time I played Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Me and a good friend of mine, who is a listener of the show, we stayed up all night long playing that game because we were too terrified to go to bed. Like, we didn't want to go to bed because we were terrified by this game. It was that gripping. Like, we're like, nope, we'll go to sleep when the lights out or when the lights back up. We like the game,
yeah,
which is good, but that's not the reason we stayed up all night. It was just because we liked it. It was because we were scared.
You were scared, dude. I made a mistake of playing the game Fear in the dark.
Oh yeah,
at midnight in an empty house where I was the only one in it.
They say the if you're ever scared, if you're ever home alone and you're scared, just watch a horror movie or play a horror video game, and you won't feel alone anymore.
Yeah, it's. I want to hear what our listeners think. So hit us up in the comments and let us think what you think about that study, if you can identify with it, or if you've ever had a game that's brought a tear to your eye, impacted you by your emotions and stuff, or made you feel accomplished when you beat it. Just let us know. It's a good discussion topic.
Mm-hmm. And then the other article that I had was, and I never thought that I'd see these words in print, but late night host Stephen Colbert is making a Lord of the Rings movie.
I don't know what I think about that.
I did not realize, but apparently he's a huge fan of the series. He can speak fluent Elvish. And he's always been you can sit there and have conversations with this man about deep cut lore in the Tolkien universe. And he is even partnering with Steven Jackson to make it. Like, but
Nice.
apparently the movie is going to be called The Lord of the Rings: Shadows of the Past, and it's going to be similar to the forthcoming Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, in which it depicts events from Fellowship of the Ring that never made it onto the screen in Peter Jackson's movies. Just like The Hunt for Gollum, it will be set in the gap between Bilbo's 111th birthday and Gandalf's return to Bag End, following Gandalf and Aragorn as they search for the missing ring bearer. Yeah. So, like, it's going to be set in the gap, kind of like The Hunt for Gollum was.
So I wonder if what characters they're going to use
for his movie.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Are they going to use different characters? Are they? I wonder
Well, here we go. The main events of Shadows of the Past will reportedly cover about 6 chapters from the novel, from chapter 3 is company, to chapter 8, Fog of the Burrowed Downs. While some of these events do make it into the Fellowship of the Ring, including Frodo and Sam's reunion with Merry and Pippin, the first appearance of the Black Riders, and the race to Buckleberry Ferry, the 2001 film skips past several fan-favorite moments, including the attack by Old Man Willow, the introduction of Tom Bombadil, the Hobbit's visit to the house or to his house, and the subsequent capture of Barrow Wights. Undoubtedly, several of Tom's extremely weird songs will be featured.
Now, the question is who they're getting to play the parts.
Well, hopefully they get the main cast.
That would be nice, but that
would be hard to do.
Unless they made it an animated movie.
Or CGI.
Well, yeah, CGI is not that bad, though. I mean...
They could CGI it.
Yeah. Let's see. Lord of the Rings, Shadows of the Past.
Huh.
All right. Let's see if they got it cast yet. All right. They're going to have Billy Boyd and Ali Aston in it.
Ali Aston? Like Sean, related to Sean Aston?
Yep.
Okay.
They're rumored. Oh, okay. So that's what they're doing. According to IMDb, the storyline is 14 years after Frodo's passing, Sam, Merry, Pippin set out to retrace the steps of their adventure, while Sam's daughter, Eleanor, is determined to uncover why the War of the Rings was very nearly lost before it even began.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't sound too bad then. So that'll be interesting. The writers are going to be Philippa Boyens, Stephen Colbert, and Peter McGee. Right now, the only rumored cast is Billy Boyd and Ali Aston. That's going to be actually awesome. I'm going to want to watch that.
Could be pretty good.
Yeah, I think it will. It could be.
Well, that's all I got. So,
well, we got time to talk about episode 3 then, sir. Let's get to our Firefly info.
Oh my gosh, how have we not even gotten to that? We're like an hour into the episode already. Holy cow! I thought for some reason, in my mind, we already got through that. Okay, so episode 3 of Firefly, we got the abridged version.
The abridged version. So, this is the episode where they come across a derelict ship that was hit by reavers, but at the time they weren't aware of that. When they saw it, they found one survivor. They rescued the survivor. They rescue the foodstuffs off the ship where all the bodies are. They put the bodies to rest, all that good stuff. They get captured by the Alliance. When the Alliance stumbles across them, and they get questioned by the Alliance, all that good stuff. then bound by law or under arrest. And then when that happens, the survivor escapes the Alliance ship, goes back to the Firefly.
Serenity.
Yeah, goes back to the Serenity. Gets back on board that ship, and then Mal tells the commander, hey, he's most likely on the ship. He's going to go back somewhere he knows. They go on the ship. The guy kills a couple of the Alliance soldiers and freaks out the commander as Mal kills the now Reaver. And they're led on their way when they realize that's what happened. All of this is happening while River and Tam are hiding outside the ship because they're wanted.
In space.
Yeah, in a spacesuit.
Yeah, just hanging on to the outside of the ship because the ship is being thoroughly searched by the Alliance, so they're hiding outside.
Well, nobody ever thinks to search outside the ship.
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny. I thought that was clever.
So that is the abridged version of what happens in the story, and is actually
that is a super abridged, but it was actually really good. I mean, you covered most of the main points, except for what was that sweet game that they're playing at the beginning that looked very similar to basketball, but it was really cool.
It looked like basketball mixed with the Aztec sport they used to that people found back in the archaeologists found, where it's that ring on the side and they're trying to throw the ball through it.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was like a floating ring in the middle that was like, vertical instead of horizontal. And then like they were, I don't know. It looked like it was a lot of fun.
I couldn't tell how you were supposed to score. Were you supposed to score on one side or were you supposed to score on the other side?
It didn't even seem like they were keeping score. They were just having fun.
But if you ask, when Inara asked Tam, so who's winning? Tam went, I don't know. They're not playing any civilized sport. Any civilized version of the game.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that
was kind of cool.
But dude, the part that sticks out to me about this episode is how calm. No. That was a cool point. And then the other cool point was when they were in custody, sir. Wash, when he was in custody, between him and him and Zoe.
Yeah, that was funny.
I'm private about my marriage. The legs. It's got to be the legs.
She wouldn't say anything about their marriage, but then he was just like, yep, it was her legs. That's what I was attracted to, especially the part of her legs that connects to her lower back, that whole area. We know he's talking about there.
Yep. That just made me laugh. But no, what was my train of thought? Oh, yeah, how calm under pressure Mal is that entire time. Mm-hmm. And then I see you named your ship after the Serenity. You're on the wrong side of that. It might have been the losing side, but I'm not sure it was the wrong one.
Yeah, I like that line. That was a great line.
Mm-hmm. This one this one actually identified the characters a lot more on how they interact with each other. And you actually see how they get along. So that was nice.
And Jane, and he was terrified of the dead bodies.
Yes. I'd be terrified of dead bodies if I saw that many just hanging there. Especially if I know what that meant. What's weird, so Firefly takes place in a solar system away from Earth. Okay, it explains it at the intro. One of these days, I'll play that clip of what Book is saying at the intro. But the Alliance is out there. They're on the fringes, but they don't want to listen to or believe that Reavers really exist. But there's so much evidence that they do.
Yeah.
They don't want to...
They're bad people.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Reavers are like a psychotic cannibal. They come, they raid a ship, they take all the people, they eat them, and then they take all their stuff and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and because
sometimes they take their stuff.
And if you're lucky, they'll do it in that order.
Right.
But no, so without going into future information, what we know about them right now is they're the boogeyman, and they are real for the people who have been out on the fringes this entire time. But the Alliance doesn't want to believe it. They know they exist, but they treat them as the boogeyman, like they're aliens, like we treat aliens.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I think this episode kind of seemed almost like a filler for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not a ton happened, but at the same time, what did happen was important. Like, them getting captured by the Alliance, but then, like, they kind of made almost a friend out of that commander. And as far as he knows, the wanted fugitives aren't on that ship. So now, like, that kind of helps them a little bit because now they're off that radar
Now
a little
there's
bit.
an identified Firefly class that does not have the fugitives on board.
Potentially, yeah. I think it's funny. He's like, yeah, we're looking for a fugitive and his sister, but like,
there's no kids on this ship.
Right, but like, how do they, like, he didn't have a picture of them that I'm aware of.
No, he just mentioned it.
So how did he know that, like, Jane and Kaylee weren't the brother and sister? Like, how did he know who? Like,
I'm
nope,
pretty
that's not
sure
us.
the most wanted siblings in the Alliance would every commander would have an idea. Before he went over to that ship, he will have probably seen a photo of what they're supposed to look like.
Maybe. Because, I mean, it didn't say anything. There wasn't any indicator. Like, he didn't even know. Like, he's like, oh, they're wanted? Like, for what? Like, oh, it's classified. Oh.
But at the same time, he knows they're not kids.
Right.
Because when Mal said there's no children on board, he's like, I never said they were children.
Right.
So it makes you wonder. This does help him out, and it brings up a point I want to talk about real quick. So in modern TV, especially with streaming, you're starting to see a lot less filler episodes. But something I've noticed about filler episodes from like late 90s, early 2000s series, some of those filler episodes actually give a lot of backstory to characters. Doesn't really move the plot of the story, but it gives you more in depth of the character, like Data's Day for Star Trek Next Generation, or there's some others I can't think of off the top of my head. I wish they would add filler episodes into modern streaming. I know they don't want to do a grueling streaming schedule or recording schedule like a 22 episode season would be, but why not 15? You're already doing.
Nowadays it's like 8.
Yeah.
You get like 8 episodes. That's it.
My problem with this is you're filming these so far in the future now because you know you're going to release it. You can film it while it's editing. Everybody takes a break. You start filming the next season. You're not trying to do week of seasons or the same month of the season anyway. You're just trying to get stuff out.
Right.
They can do it. There's ways to do it. I just don't think they want to because they don't see a point. But I think it would bring episodic series more in line with the viewership they want versus, hey, I'm going to cancel this after one season because we're not making good ratings on it. Well, no, duh. Yeah. Nobody wants to watch an 8-episode season. It's going to be a rush story, just like normal. And for those who might live under a rock and haven't heard, for those Trekkies out there, Star Trek Starfleet Academy has been canceled after season 2. I don't blame them because it suffers the same issues that Acolyte had. Good concept, poor execution.
Yeah.
And rewriting lore as we know it. So Acolyte suffered from this issue that you had bad writing, mediocre actors that couldn't overcome the bad writing, and trying to retcon everything they possibly could. Star Trek, while Starfleet Academy did an okay job of explaining some things, there was just some things if it wasn't Discovery in the future, I think it would have been better. I had an issue with Discovery from the very beginning because of how they modified the Klingons and tried retconning all that. If they would stop trying to retcon stuff and at least explain how certain things have changed within the first couple of episodes, cool. Because I don't think anywhere in Discovery did you ever hear about Jem'Hadar being able to reproduce or anything like that. But it was actually, in this case, it was good actors, but the writing wasn't the best. And you can't beat bad writing. It's hard for good actors to make bad writing good.
Yeah. I will agree with that.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on everything. And that was our take on Firefly episode 3. Next week, we will make sure we actually follow Firefly as our early topic and then do all of our filler at the end. So we don't forget about it.
Yeah, I completely, like, I thought, for some reason, I was thinking we had already done it, but.
Yeah, we didn't. But as we get to more of the episodes, we're going to get into more of deep talking about some stuff because I really want your input on stuff. All right, everybody. So it's that time. If you are watching this on YouTube, please do me a favor or do us a favor and like and subscribe to our channel. Comment, engage in the discussion. It helps the algorithm out a lot. That way we can get to more people that might like this content. We try bringing you upbeat, happy topics to talk about. So also, if you want to talk to us, our Discord is the place to be. We're always got it open. Raw and Nerdy is the only Discord channel that I receive updates for on a regular basis on my phone. So I will get the information. Archon will get the notifications.
Mm-hmm.
That is discord.gg/raw podcasts. If you want to talk to us about anything business, editing, topics, interviews, anything like that, hit us up on our email, preferably at podcastraw@gmail.com, or you can hit us up privately on Discord. If you hit us up on Discord, please private message us in a group, and we will gladly discuss it with you. I can't think of anything else, sir. Can you think of anything?
Nope, I think you covered all the main topics.
All right, cool. Well, in that case, I hope y'all have a great week and y'all stay nerdy.
Have a great week, guys.